Hi everyone, it's me, Ali. Welcome back to another video on my channel, or should I say audio. I've been feeling really inspired lately. My friend Blaine just put out a video on manifestation about how he manifests, and I'm gonna link the video down below. But I was really inspired to talk about the way that I manifest and to see if that resonates with people. And this is a video he did want me to do, so shout out Blaine. Thank you for the suggestion, because I have some knowledge that I've been sort of, well, not sitting on, because a lot of people do know this knowledge, but they word it in very different ways. I had a experience that happened to me, and I just want to talk about it and then go into, how I manifest, like what my technique is or way that I manifest so far. And I've only manifested small things, so my manifestation journey is still ongoing because I was very much stuck in a limbo of techniques and trying to figure out what worked and overthinking for a long time. So and I did have another video on manifestation that I did, but then after that I kind of went astray again. And I think for overthinkers, you just got to make stuff really simple. Anyway, so a little while back I had a dream, and for those of you who don't know, I am a wheelchair user, but the irony is that when I dream, I normally dream that I'm walking around, which is probably just, a subconscious thing and probably from watching movies and stuff. But anyway, I always take note when I'm like walking in a dream. And in this dream, it was very vivid. And so sometimes I have had sort of lucid type dreams where I've woken up and I've been in my room and I physically feel that I'm in my room, but I know I'm in a dream. But this time I was in my house and I was walking through my house, and it was all like empty, but it was daytime and I could hear the birds. So I go into the living room because I have a one-story house, so there's like no stairs, there's like a hallway. So I was just walking down through the living room, and I paused in the middle of the living room and the door was open. And I looked out the door and I could see that it was daytime, the sun was shining through, the birds were chirping, and I thought, I want to go out that door, but I don't think that I am supposed to. Like, it doesn't feel right. I know I need to go out the door, but I don't feel ready to go out the door, okay? And as I'm like thinking that, I feel like, well, I'm dreaming, I need to wake up. And as I woke up out of this dream, because I started to realize I was in a dream and that I needed to wake up, I realized, wow, when I was in that dream, I had no anxiety. I had no physical sensation, emotion in my body. I didn't really feel anything. In the dream, I just accepted the reality of the dream for what it was. And I realized something super valuable, which is that you have to perceive the world, okay, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but bear with me here. You have to perceive this physical world as fluid as the dream world, and that it can change at any time, that it can change from moment to moment. The craziest thing could happen to you out of the blue, okay? Good things, of course, we want good things here, but things happen all the time that are unexpected. So I started thinking about it and I thought, well, if reality is fluid, that means that it's changeable, and so it means that there is truth to manifestation. But it took me a while to realize that even though I had discovered partially some truth about the nature of reality, that probably, and I know a ton of other people have already figured this out, it still didn't click until I started thinking about it like this. See, I've gone back and forth with affirmations because I was always viewing it as a process. You do something to get something. And I have a very good mutual on Twitter of mine. Shout out Taylor Tooks. She's an amazing manifestation YouTuber and model, and she basically taught me that affirmations are just thoughts. They are what you tell yourself, okay? I'll put a link to her channel below as well, but she basically taught me that affirmations are just your thoughts, like what you would think on a consistent basis. You would think from that place. Kind of what, like, if you're familiar with Neville Goddard, he kind of teaches that too, except he talks about it takes 3 days to manifest. Everybody, I'm not going to begrudge anybody because everybody teaches it in their own way. But what I found is the less emotion that I put into my manifestation, and I just told myself these thoughts over and over, and I made them my repetition, my thoughts that I repeated in the daytime, I was getting stuff, okay? I figured it out. It is just an inner monologue. And people think they have to repeat. And look, I'm not going to begrudge anybody because everyone manifests differently. But I think what happens is when you're an overthinker, like I still am, I'm in the process of working it out and I'm trying not to identify with that. But me being an overthinker, you know, you think, I have to literally say this statement in this exact way, and I have to do it over and over and over, and I have to hammer it into my brain. And I realized the times where I really wanted stuff, I was just super casual. I was like, oh yeah, well, I'll get that, you know, and that might happen. And I was really relaxed about it. And so there is a point where the emotion does come in, because I think if you find a way that works for you and it relaxes you, that's what makes it work. It's you realizing it is just you, okay? And I do believe in spirit guides and the universe to a certain extent, but it is your inner dialogue. It is what you are telling yourself, what you display on the TV screen of your mind that is bringing you these things, right? So, for example, one of my favorite techniques that Taylor also taught me, and I'm going to link that video, like it was my introduction to Taylor's channel really, and getting to know her, where she manifested a lime green car, and she just made the dialogue so natural. But I used to always think there was an extra hidden step. There is no hidden step you have to do. You make those thoughts what you are. So even if you don't feel them, or you feel like crap, you just tell yourself good things. It's kind of like talking to yourself. You make your inner monologue your dominant thought for like 10, 15, 20. It doesn't matter how long you do it. If it's like 20 minutes or an hour or whatever. As long as you're consistently thinking like in your favor, it doesn't matter. Like imagine you're talking to your friend and then you just spout that off in your head. You're like, oh well, my crush said he wants to talk to me, or you know, I just saw a lime green car. Everyone's driving lime green cars nowadays, okay, or pink cars or purple cars or zebra cars or whatever, you know. You have to think. Just it's like you treat it like a funny joke. You go, oh yeah, I always see zebra cars, okay, and I don't know what happens, right? And Blaine was right when he said this as well, okay. We don't know what happens with affirmations, but something does. But affirmations are just thoughts that you tell yourself, and it doesn't have to be a big scripted statement. You do not have to present it in a certain way. It is your natural dialogue, okay. Because here's the thing, people confuse it because they get anxious, like I said, and they think there's an extra way of doing it. There is no extra way. It is whatever you decide, whatever works for you is what works for you. So, for example, right, like using Taylor as an example, right, she might not have feeling behind her affirmations, but she makes the natural dialogue a part of it, right? And she persists in that dialogue until it comes to fruition, and she doesn't worry about it, you know. Whereas I have other friends that, you know, they use feeling to manifest and gratitude, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think it can be really helpful, like I said, to just think of it as this is a natural new thought that you're going to feed yourself, and you're just going to tell yourself a little story. Like when you used to use your imagination as a kid, you're going to tell yourself a little story, and that's going to be what we in Law of Assumption call the new story, and you're going to use that to make the reality malleable to you, okay? So you don't have to, because here's the thing, some people, unfortunately, they do find it very hard to conjure up a feeling because it feels fake to them, okay? Some people really struggle, okay? It's not as easy. For me, I feel negative feelings a bit more intensely, and I do have to work on that. So it's very hard for me to inject feeling into a statement because my logical mind, which is still getting used to, being overridden by my manifestation mind, that part of my brain is like, well, I'm feeling it, but it's not coming, and then you start looking for it. I think the more you feel, the more you overthink it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to begrudge anybody. Like I said, some people find it easier than others to do it with feeling. It's all about whatever works for you, and I'm not going to begrudge anybody else their way. But I'm telling you, if you just make manifestation easy and natural to you, and you just tell yourself over and over that you have something, you will give it to yourself. Because here's the thing, I believe in the universe, but I also believe we are the universe. Like, it is a part of us, and I am the universe I am a part of the universe giving the universe to myself. Okay, it's my life, and I make the decision what I do with it. And yeah, there's tons of shit I still have to work on. Absolutely there is, okay? There's tons of stuff I have to work on, and I have to look at myself and be like, well, I get triggered here, and I do this. But starting off easy with seeing a car or getting a cup of coffee, I'm never going to, because some people, I'll be honest, some people in the manifestation space can sort of look down their nose and be like, oh, you manifested that? Like, dude, it's their manifestation, and I like manifesting colored cars personally because it helps me to manifest and to have faith in Law of Assumption, because here's the thing, like, I think some things get overlapped, like Law of Attraction, Law of Assumption. I think people just want to go straight to the big stuff, and I don't know how to phrase it. Like, I know this is going to tick some people off, but I really feel like whatever helps people, whether they have a small manifestation or a big manifestation, it doesn't matter, as long as they have this beautiful knowledge, okay? This beautiful understanding that reality is malleable. And it clicked for me. Like, I'd heard Taylor, and I'd heard Blaine, I'd heard all these people that I knew, and they were saying, like, I watch so many people, Free T, Hyla, who are all really good channels. I'm going to link down below, but I'd heard people over and over. But it wasn't until Spirit, actually, is funny, I married two things. So it was Spirit, and it was my own sort of willingness, I didn't want to give up on it. And Spirit said, well, think about it this way, Ally. It is just you talking to yourself. That is what it is. You don't need to make it any more complicated than that. It is talking to yourself until you perceive it in the reality. That's it, and it makes me feel sad that people think that there has to be some grand thing to it. And look, I'm not begrudging people, again, for what they manifest, how they manifest, but I do think for beginners, as I said, you keep it really, really simple, and you're going to start to feel better. I already feel better with the small things I've manifested. I don't think anybody should be snooty about that or say, oh, well, that's not like a real manifestation. You know what I mean? In the manifestation community, we all have to support each other in the spiritual community, because we're all on this journey together. And it really does bother me when some people in Law of Assumption, Law of Attraction, spirituality, whatever it is, they will sort of be like, well, that's not the proper way, or who cares? Like, I'm so grateful to share this knowledge with you guys, and Spirit told me I have to share this knowledge. You know, you can do whatever you like, whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve that. And there's definitely things, manifestations, I'm not going to say what they are, but I'm going to be working on them. And my goal in the next, let me say 6 months, is to really come to grips with the fact that I am the creator of the reality, because I'm part of the universe and the universe loves me. Therefore, obviously in a narcissistic way, not narcissistic, I love myself in a very genuine way, because the universe loves me and Spirit loves me, and it's all connected. So no way is wrong. It's just easier if you're starting out to do it in a certain way where you're not overthinking it, is all I'm trying to say. So I hope this made sense. Let me know. I'm going to do probably more carb videos in the next few weeks coming. I have a family stuff going on, so I'll just have to figure stuff out, and like when I want to set up the camera and film, but I would still love to do cards. Oh, by the way, you don't have to be beholden to cards. Like, I love tarot. That's another thing as well. I love tarot, but always take tarot with a grain of salt. Remember that you create your reality. It's your choices. You still have free will and free choice in your own world. And, yeah. I still love the cards, but it's about marrying your different knowledges together and... knowledges? Is that a word? Your different knowledge together and finding what ways work for you, and we are all different. And so yeah, so I have family stuff going on, and so I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do, if I want, because I'm trying to wonder, do I want to do solely like manifestation or messages from Spirit where I just talk intuitively? Do I want to do cards? I'm in the process of trying to figure out what I want to do with stuff, so I won't make any promises, but I would like to show off some new tarot cards that I have that I haven't really used as of yet. So let me know if you would want to see that. Let me know what you thought of this. By the way, this is not to tell anybody their way is wrong or whatever. It's just, this is my way. I really feel like inner dialogue is an important part of the discussion around manifestation, and it should be simple, and it helps people a lot, and it helps them tap into other areas of life. I think inner dialogue is super important when it's fixated on a particular goal and how we feel about ourselves, which I'm still working on. So yeah, let me know what you would want to see more of. This was just like an audio ramble. I'm so sorry if this was like really long or a bit of a slog. It's sort of raw and unedited, but yeah, let me know how you feel, and I will talk to you next time, and I hope to help you guys. Lots of love. Bye.